what we want to talk about as, life as creators, we'll spend a little bit on it. How can we get into it?
Yeah, well, I kind of wanted you guys, at least for our audience as well, to tell a little bit about your story, how, We Are Austin TV came to be,
Okay.
right? Because, we have some, I think both of us started around the same time, and I've seen the projection of Top Bin 90, and I've seen the growth of We Are Austin TV, man, and anytime I talk to anybody, I'm like, the only other people that I see that are doing a high-level, quality, great job is you guys, right? I'll put us to bat. We do a great job too. And then for how you guys cover how you guys cover Austin FC, I don't see any other market like that. The graphics, the on point on everything. Like, you guys are just the standard bearers for creators.
And we feel the same way going there. It's like,
Yeah,
when we
100%.
look around the board, and every time we play a team like Seattle or whoever team we play with, we like to go and see, okay, what creators are out there for this club. And, when it comes to Charlotte, y'all guys, y'all stand out. I know there's some fans in Atlanta that may have, I know LAFC has some stuff, but it stands out. So
Now,
game recognized game,
game recognized game. And I feel the same way. I feel like we do a really good job here in Austin. And when I see Top Bin, when they post their stuff, I tell the boys all the time, like, this is a good way to do things. This is a standard of how media should be. I really do feel like you guys bring in a different vibe, a different cultural feeling into this atmosphere. And so, soccer is very hard to cover in this country.
Yeah,
because
it is.
It's not the NCAA blows soccer out the water. Imagine the NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Even like the Panthers, that they're doing bad, and they're like half the stadium's typically the other team. But I think if they have a good season, people show out for them, right? Versus us, we don't get me wrong, 35,000 is an amazing number, but still, we're competing with NFL.
Yeah. And here we're competing with the Longhorns, a college football team.
Yeah.
One of the biggest college football teams of all time.
Last year, home opener, 107,000 people.
Crazy.
Bro. And no shade, 100 degrees.
Like prime sun hour at like 1 p.m.
Sun hour, 107,000 people.
That's
and now
loyal,
we're in the
bro.
SEC, so now it's so there you go. 20,000 seat stadium sold out. 107 over here. So.
Yeah.
DKR is massive on game days.
That's
bro.
why we always give props to y'all guys, what y'all doing in Charlotte, to any other creators that are doing it, because of course we do this to cover our home team. We love this club. We love the sport. We enjoy doing what we do, and it's almost like we want to grow the sport in general here. That's a part of it. So we would like to have all other clubs.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reason I wanted to kind of do this as well, because somebody's gonna watch this, and we can kind of give them some of the blueprint of what we've been able to do. Because to me, I don't like gatekeeping anything. You know what I'm saying? In terms of because at the end of the day, the hard work is what really matters. Because right, people are like, "Oh, this is so cool," but then we're at the stadium till freaking 12 p.m. Like you guys were doing a space. We're editing videos because we have to post, right? So they don't see those side of things, right? Or they see, oh, you're really cool with Karol Swiderski, or you're really cool with these players, or they
it
they
didn't
like
fall out the sky.
Yeah.
It didn't just
It's not like, oh, we just sat here and it happened,
That's
right?
facts, bro. That's facts. People see that and they assume certain things, but they don't see the work.
Let's go back and start at the beginning, though.
I was gonna say, let's kind of structure the conversation a little bit. How we started with Austin TV. I was telling you guys on the way over here, I've known this guy since 6th grade. I remember I remember like it was yesterday, bro. I remember my mom dropped me off. I was a little nervous. I was like, dang, this is 6th grade. This is it. I'm no longer a 5th grader. It's time to go to Burn. I told you guys what Burn It was like. I gave you a snippet.
Burn was crazy.
And I hadn't gotten my growth spurt yet. In 6th grade, I was like at least 5'3", 5'4". I was a tiny kid.
I'm still that height.
Short
I'm
kid.
still that height.
I was really little, bro. I was tiny. But then I got my growth spurt later on in 8th grade, right? Things changed. But I remember going into Burn It in 6th grade, and I remember I had my schedule, and it said you needed to go to this room, and I was like, all right, I bet it wasn't that far from where I was already at. Go upstairs. It was Miss Robinson's 6th grade math class.
Shout out Miss Robinson.
Not really. Not
Never
really.
mind.
Not
Take
really.
that back.
Not really. She actually
Miss
fell down the
Robinson out.
stairs. She actually fell down the stairs, bro.
And it's crazy
Oh.
how
What?
when she fell, she reached out for help from one of the guys, and the guy said, which was, I'll never forget it, man. You know? Yeah.
I
Like,
didn't laugh. I didn't laugh.
Look,
A
look,
Lion King moment.
let's put a button on the burn it topic because we could have a whole pod on
Yeah.
our middle school days because
Nah.
our middle school was there could be a documentary on our middle school days.
I said
bro.
it. I said it was somewhat like.
No
jail.
cap, no cap, bro.
I said it was somewhat like jail.
It was
Bro.
It was like jail, man.
It was somewhat
It was
like jail.
There was race beefs, dude.
That's
It's
what I was
crazy.
telling
He told us
them.
a story.
Yeah,
There was
dude,
race
I
beefs.
was
That's
one
why
of a race beef, brother.
Yeah.
I was a. We can. It's,
I don't know if I can say this, but
Yeah.
nah, never mind.
but yeah, that's a different topic. That's a different.
That's where we met.
yeah.
So I walked into the classroom. I literally like the door frame is there. I'm looking at it and I see this kid. He's sitting at the end of the table and he's just there chilling. He had a backpack, string. You remember those string backpacks?
Yeah.
Was it Nike?
Yeah.
Adidas?
It
What
was yellow and blue.
America.
America.
Míralo, sí
And
sabe.
I walked in with my string backpack, which was red and white.
Oh,
The
like-
same
Oh,
we
snap.
both got it at the same place, La Pulga, bro.
Yeah, most likely.
It was literally this. It was next to each other. I got the American one. He probably must have got the cheapest.
But at the
one, so.
time, that was fly, bro.
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
At the time, if you had a backpack like that, you were on it.
The smaller the
Yeah.
backpack, the cooler you were.
Yeah,
You had to
100%.
pull it with a
No,
monster
the
too.
smaller and the longer it hung down
Yeah.
your back.
And
Yeah.
and if you didn't even have a backpack, you were that guy. You know what I
If
mean?
you didn't even have a backpack and you had a binder,
He don't even bring a pencil. He's
Yeah,
a G.
You were that guy. Everybody's like, damn, he's so cool. He doesn't care.
Damn, can I borrow your pencil? Oh, he
So-
a thug.
I see this kid and I see nobody sitting next to him. I go up to him. I don't remember if I told him, I was like, yo, anybody sitting here? I just sat next to him.
I think it was the only seat left.
Yep. No. But the reason why
fake.
it attracted me was because I was like, well, this guy's a soccer fan. I guess I'm gonna stay next to him, whatever, right? And then you changed schedules.
So
A couple weeks later.
I got a story on that. So that was AP classes. A couple months in, they're like, nah, this guy needs to go back to regular classes. So I ended up changing. They ended up taking me out of AP and then when I went into my new class, I was like, oh shit, this is.
That's when you met all the other guys.
That's when I.
And you know what's funny, bro? Our middle school, the sixth graders were in the second floor, and it was separated by two hallways. Like it was one half of the hallway and the other half
prison,
of the hallway.
bro.
Segregated.
And it was the other half of the hallway was where B was sent to,
Yeah.
the gulag. And the other half
But
of the hallway
We
was
stayed
AP.
cool as shit though. It didn't matter.
But it's because
Nice.
soccer
Okay.
brought us together. Soccer brought us together. And fortunately for me, the class bully, the grade bully, was a Chivas fan. David.
Yeah.
David
Shout out,
Day,
homie David.
David Thayes, he was a Chivas fan, so that saved me, bro. That saved because I'm gonna be real. B had more of a a bit of a gangster flow. Like B was more in
tall
with like
tees,
tall
fitteds,
tees.
You know.
You know, I was an AP kid. I was a teacher's pet in fifth
Okay.
grade.
He's smart.
You know,
That's
I-
what I'm saying. After
Santo cielos.
so I had to stick with certain people in order to protect myself, right? And so David, the great bully, he kind of like never messed with me because I was a Chivas fan, and that saved my life. But this guy, this dude, he took somebody's new shoes one time and just flushed them down the toilet, bro.
What?
bro, that's nothing, bro. That's you
He's
think
a-
that's
he said the
what?
gulag.
Bro, every single day there was a fight card. Main event, sub-main event, and then prelims.
What?
There was a location.
The train
There was a
tracks?
train track.
Bro.
Now,
There
low
was
key,
a
my
train
middle school
tracks
was kind of
literally
like that.
Like a 2-minute walk.
Is-
Everybody walked to school. It was,
Was
all right.
like Dana White and Joe Rogan? Is this where they got the
Yes,
idea for
that's what I'm
UFC?
saying. It was
They're like,
organ-
wait a minute.
Bro,
If they're
it was-
doing it in middle schools,
Bro, it was organized, bro. They would be like, all right, prelims, come on. It's going to be this versus this. Go ahead. Boom. We had a dedicated videographer.
No, it's
Yo,
true.
Cisco Arts was there?
But bro, hold on. State of the art video. They had razors. You remember the phone, the
Yeah.
razor?
Yeah.
Hold on, have
So
y'all
they
seen
had-
Never Back Down?
No.
Is that fighting movie? Never mind.
All right,
But
keep
it's
going, keep
similar
going.
to
Razor.
that.
So our homie, his name's nicknamed Cucho, but his name's Ruben. He was that guy. He had all the fights logged. Replays and everything. He would be the guy. So like, hey, Cucho, all right, boom, everything's ready, cameras on.
Popular
Boom,
guy.
let's get it.
Popular guy.
First fight was over, then the Coleman, and then the main event at the end. I mean, it was every Friday was a fight card.
And
It
I would
was
hear,
crazy.
bro, I would hear about these dudes just fighting. Like, hey, so and so fought on the way home from
and
school.
I
And I
was
was like,
in,
why?
I was in one fight card once.
Why, bro?
Did you
like,
win?
I didn't.
Dang. What's your
It was a
record,
no
bro?
contest.
I mean, I was not involved with that world, but I still
He
hung
said I
around
was
with
doing
them.
homework.
I still hung around with them. I was
I
very,
gotcha.
I was into soccer. I played soccer outside of school a lot, and in 6th grade we couldn't play, but in 7th grade we could. And I was a backup keeper. I was a terrible backup keeper at the time. I was just trying to make the team, and there was a lot of competition with these guys in 7th and 8th grade.
Our
So
goalkeeper, to be fair, was goalkeeper of the year.
he was also like his first year as a goalkeeper, so it made me look even
Shout
worse.
out,
Damn.
Plastic.
Shout out, Plastic. Him and I almost fought. He
Dang.
probably would
you were
have
on
beat
the
my
I
ass.
No,
stopped
no,
it. I
no,
stopped
no
it.
card main event, or was it like
I literally stopped it.
He probably was gonna beat my ass, bro. I'm not gonna lie. He's probably gonna murder me. But soccer came around. B made the team. I was backup goalkeeper. We went to a cup final in 8th grade, right?
Yes.
We
Nice.
went to a cup final in in the semifinal. They broke into our locker room, stole all of our stuff, all our PSPs, all our necklaces, shoes, and everything. Inside job too. It was somebody from our school. They
Yeah.
knew.
inside job?
They knew.
is
It's because they were
crazy.
remodeling our lockers and they had us in portables. So they just busted in
Texas-
there. They
Texas
took all
is
our
tough.
stuff.
Yeah, dang.
And so, we lose the cup final. We lose out to Dobie like 8-2, 7-6-2.
Dobie is the only school that we would say are probably a little worse than our school. Like all
Yeah.
the stuff that we're saying about our school, middle school,
Even worse. over
Dobie
there.
was probably a little worse.
yeah,
I mean,
damn.
the guy I was starting left back. I was guarding a guy that had half his neck covered in hickeys.
And we were in 8th grade.
One dude had a full beard. Like what?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So and they scored an Olympico on us, which is.
And then times went on. The years went by. We got into high school. This guy gave me my first. He was like an older brother to me. He gave me my first. My first protection.
Where's this going?
He gave
I gave him a condom.
He gave me
dude.
the first
Yeah.
condoms.
Yeah,
He gave me my first condoms. My mom found them. She was like, "What is this?"
And then he just threw me under the bus. He's like, "Oh, it was that guy."
I was like, "Hey, my buddy gave it to me," but I told mom, I was like, "Hey, well, think about it if I get into a fight and I got a gun. Like, I'm gonna be safe. I just want to practice
A
safe."
condom?
Hey.
Yeah. I was like, we were in
Damn.
9th grade.
Okay.
It was like Simba with Mufasa, but with a condom.
My
right?
mom-
There you go.
My mom found it and she was like, "My son has what are you getting into?" You know what I'm saying? At that point, I'm still like a little, I'm still my mom's eyes. I'm still her little kid or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm
Hold on.
hanging out with savages.
The
know,
Rosa
me-
de Guadalupe song came on.
Type
Yeah.
shit, bro.
Yeah.
Type shit.
I advanced my years. I grew quick. Like,
Oh
it
yeah,
was crazy.
He was hanging out with the kid in middle school that had a car in 6th grade.
Dude, we would drive to school, bro, in
Yeah.
sixth
Just
grade.
In
stolen?
6th grade.
No.
Okay.
Bro, I had friends in middle school that had full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Bus boys at Texas Roadhouses.
Yeah.
We would
Deadass,
drive
bro.
Cadillacs with rims. I would drive downtown and
Yeah.
smoke a Black and Mild and
Yeah.
think we're cool. In 6th grade, bro.
Bro.
Yeah, we're being
Yeah.
serious,
Damn,
bro.
dude.
We're being serious, and
Yeah,
we're
people in
high
Austin
school.
are built different.
We're in high school. Years pass by. We're still involved with soccer. We're still close friends. More guys come into the scene of our friend group. Bali comes in. Danny Bands comes in. Nolvis has been friends with us for a long time. Primo, Bali's cousin, comes into the scene. We meet a lot more people. And the whole time we've loved soccer. We've talked about soccer all our life. We played it up until the era of playing outside was over. We met up at schools, got kicked out of schools because we ruined portables. Because we used to hit the crap out of the ball and it would ruin like the metal sheet on the side.
Yeah.
We had cops kick us out of certain schools or whatever. And so, we grew up in that life. And then Austin FC comes around. We're adults by then pretty much, and we have the ability to make our own decisions. We have our own money. We're starting to work or whatnot, and we get together and we're like, "Yo, let's start this project." We knew of teams in the EPL that had pages that were similar to what we're trying to do right now. And at first, I just wanted to make graphics for the iPhones. I just wanted to have my own Austin FC wallpapers. But then I started making stat graphics and player probably coming to Austin graphics. And then a new player arrives, a welcome graphic. And then, I started to get more into graphic design, this and that. And then, usually every graphic that we post, I make it or I
They're
used to
quality
make it.
graphics, bro.
But after time went by, we've gotten guys like Verde Nation ATX who's come in and said, "Hey, I like to do graphics. Let's collab." And other people also shout out to Nacho Chivagrafia. We're trying to get him a job with a team in Liga MX. I've written at least 2 letters for him already to give him his job interviews, and he said that they've gone
Nice.
well. So what I like to think of is WEAREAUSTINTV TV turned into like an opportunity. It turned into a
Yeah.
platform for people that can use our audience and showcase their talent, because there's
Love
people
that.
there's people that have talent out there that just need a chance. They just need a shot.
100%.
Plus,
Ye-
there's people out there that don't know what they want to do, and then
Yeah.
like for me, I joined the trades quickly. I was an electrician, and then as soon as I started to get into graphics and having fun with videos and stuff, I'm like, well, this is awesome. Some people don't have that outlet, and whenever we like H with graphics, me with video, we
It made a
fell
good
in
team.
love. Like
Yeah.
it was like, dude, I
Nice.
want to get good at this.
And
You
it
know
just
what I
it
mean?
just took
So-
off from there, and we've had guys come in like Alex, football critic, who's kind of taken on the face of like the press, taking he's our face in the media. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? He's up there in the press box for Copa America. He was talking to players or whatnot, and it's something that you told me, George. Our relationship goes back since both teams came into the league. We've been talking for a long time, but I told you the other day, I was like, one thing that you told me that really resonated with me, I was like, you told me, it was like, you got to turn into a quarterback. You got to start giving jobs out. You can't do everything yourself. And it's true, from then on, we got in a graphic designer because I wanted to stop doing match days because they took a lot of time out, and I wanted
Yeah.
to focus on other things. We have a graphic designer now from Mexico, Nacho. He's the one that does all the match days. We have other guys that do this and this and that. But B and I still put in probably I'm not gonna say 2 cents. We put in our whole dollar still, So
Yeah.
because just because somebody comes in and they help do a job doesn't mean that you get complacent. It means that they're taking
100%.
care of that. Now you do something else.
Yeah, for you to continue to
You
build the brand
continue-
even more.
exactly.
And the key to I think it is that the enjoyment of doing this and loving the sport. Like
Yeah.
we're not, it could be a lot of work, but to me, I'm enjoying this. Like staying up
Yeah.
late, cooking videos, graphics, going to games.
Yeah, you kind of
I
got to love the
enjoy it,
grind
bro.
if you
Yeah.
do this.
And
That's the beautiful thing is loving the grind.
And
you
one
know?
thing that B and I have kind of always had in our minds, and something that I always kind of remind myself of it is that it's an opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And I would hate, when I'm 60 years old. Hopefully, I make it to 60 or whatever, 70. I would hate to look back at something and be like, you know what? I should have gone harder.
100%, bro.
I should have done
Yeah.
this. I should have done that.
I was reading somewhere that they interviewed people at these retirement homes.
Oh, I seen that.
And it's more they always talk about the things that they didn't do versus the things that they did, right? And so it's the same thing, man. So kind of walk me through, right? I guess how you guys, when did you guys make that decision to go from, okay, we're just doing graphics to you know what, let's truly cover this team?
Damn, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
I'm gonna have to say I think season 2 when we were actually good. I think that once we actually push it, bro.
Yeah, because season 1 people
was-
kind of
It was
ridiculed us. They were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, these guys are gonna fade in and out." Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, these guys are just negative. Oh, these guys are just trying to get a click or whatnot." But after a while, like B said,
Yeah.
we turned out to be the page that had kept up with the team
we
more
had
than anybody.
We had our little at the beginning. We weren't really, I guess, looked upon good by our own fan base. And I don't want to. I'm not saying that we were hated or anything, but maybe
Yeah,
we're
I
like,
agree.
who are these guys? Whatever. And then we kept at it. We kept growing, and then now we're like, So I think at the point where we won over our own fan base, I think that's when we're
And
like,
I
can
say
get serious.
also a turning point that kind of woke us up a little bit as to what we were gonna be walking into was when we were posting all the stadium stuff early on. I think when
Yeah.
Alexi Lalas, picked up some of our footage, when Josie Altidore retweeted some of our footage, and the whole country was able to see what was building in Austin, Texas, and who was posting it, we were thinking oh well, we have an opportunity here. And one thing that I've always said to the boys is imagine going back to Los Angeles in the early 90s, and you're one of the first people to open up a sushi restaurant or a dispensary, and so that's how I see Austin FC. We're only 4 or 5 years in, but I'm thinking 10 years in the future. I'm thinking 15 in the future. Imagine going back, and we've been there since day one.
Yeah,
So
that's the beauty of
And-
it.
that's the beauty
and
of
we
it.
accepted the notion of this is gonna take grind. This is not gonna be we accepted the long run.
Yeah.
We didn't just we'll do this and then in a month we'll have this. No, we knew that it was gonna be we'll grind this out, and eventually years to come we can maybe reap some rewards by having a bit of an audience.
And,
you know
and
what I mean?
there's been ups and downs. We're not
Yeah.
gonna pretend it's been perfect. Like, you know, we've had members that have dropped out because of life circumstances, things change in their life, and I understand.
For
And
sure.
we've taken hits. This is our third studio.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like any business too,
Yeah.
right? Like it has its ups and downs,
Mhm.
right? But then you start kind of seeing like the longevity, I think, and that's like where I think we kind of have that mutual respect because we know how hard
Game
It
recognized
is.
game, bro.
recognized
it
game.
is to do
Yeah,
some
we
of
see
these
that.
things.
And,
Right?
and you know, my life changed recently with the baby. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and to
He's
me,
got the goat excuse.
to
Can't say it.
goat excuse.
Goat
yeah.
excuse. Can't say nothing.
Now, there's one thing that I'll say is like when I, you know, when this should be Patreon talk, but I felt like there was folks that maybe thought, oh, finally, We're Austin TV is gonna go away. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they thought that
Yeah.
the baby was gonna ruin We're Austin TV or maybe take the time out or whatnot. But you know, shout out to the boys because they've also stepped up and they've also said, you know what, if he's gonna be out for some days, we're gonna step up and do our thing. You know, B will do interviews with the fans, Primo will step in and do camera work, and Alex is at the press box or whatnot. If I have to stay home, I have to stay home. But also, I mean, it's not just me. I also want to send a shout out to my wife. I mean, she's instrumental in this whole
Yeah.
process. You know, without her, I can't do a lot of the things that I do now.
Yeah,
you
I think
know?
that's important, bro. Having a
100%.
partner that understands and sees the
100%.
vision of what you're trying to do as well. You
Because
know?
if you're doing this, you got to have a good support system. If you have a family or you're single, you know what I'm saying, or
Yeah.
or you're single, you have no kids or whatnot. But you know, you have to have a good support system. If you have like a partner, if you have somebody there, and they also have to understand the grind. Like my girl, she understands it 100%. Like she knows I'm here. She knows what I was gonna do today.
Yeah.
She knows that I'm showing Top
Yeah.
Ben 90. Around, you know, and it's not the first people I've done it. I've done it for Tactical Manager. I've done
Yeah.
it for a lot
I
of
gotta
people that have come
say,
into the city.
you've been first class, bro. Just ever since you knew we were coming here, you've been attentive to us. Hey, how can we help you? And I mean, that just speaks volumes to me of more of who you are as a person. And I'm like, I batted for you guys before, and this just makes me want to bat for you even more. You know
And
what I'm saying?
that's what we want to do is we want to give like we recognize the work y'all doing. Like, hey, let's work. Let's show each other love and stuff. So
And
Yeah.
you know, that's the energy that I put out to the universe. I'm a big believer in vibes and energy and positive stuff like that and whatnot. And when something is off, it's off. Trust your gut. So I try to put positive energy out there to try to come back to me. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm a pretty lucky person in the sense that not too many terrible things have happened to me. The bad things that happened to me are because of my own fault. I'll say like I fucked something up or something. But I try to put positive energy out there. You know, I know that it's gonna come back in some weird form. I mean, I said yesterday, I was like, money comes and goes. You know, to me, like, you know, it's about enjoying the experience that you're in, enjoying the people around you, like what you do. You know, don't be a negative Nancy. You know, try to work with the positives. I mean, you guys know the kind
For
of
sure.
struggles we have in
Yeah.
Austin.
I want to touch a little bit on that because people that want to develop, you know, platforms like ours, right? Like, you obviously see the cool things where, like, you know, like people come to you for news or people like see you guys as like the top people for covering Austin. Like people in Charlotte, you know, see us as kind of, okay, these are the guys that cover Charlotte to like the best, right? Not like putting down anyone else, but that's just the reality of where things are, right? But how do you, for people that want to build something like we have, like, talk to me about when you experience negativity and how you handle that negativity, right?
I got it.
I'll say one thing first.
Okay.
Number one, you need a team. If you're trying to do this by yourself, go look for a team. You're not gonna do it by yourself, bro. You're not gonna do it by
You
yourself.
can, but it's gonna be super slow and tough on you.
I mean, yeah, you can, but you're gonna be very one-dimensional in what you can do, what you
Yeah.
can't do. I mean,
it's definitely a group effort.
Yeah, and like you start understanding strengths, right? Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
Francisco,
exactly.
who does all of our video edits, Emmanuel as well, like on camera is great, like, and they both have an understanding of like, you know, like editing and stuff like that. I'm not good at that at all.
and you got Brendan Maurer.
Yeah,
Chief-
Bryan,
chief
who
editor, Bryan
is
Maher.
like, you know, he's a MLS brain that can tell you stuff that like nobody else knows, and I know like, okay, like this is what he's really good at, and I'm not great at that, you know. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like I should have said that, or I forgot to mention that. you know?
And that's why I was more than happy to give the media access to Football Critic to Alex because, bro, who doesn't want to hang out in the press box and eat food that the stadium provides and have a beautiful seat and pretty much not have to pay a ticket to go watch a game? Yeah, you are working, but it has amenities to it, bro. You don't think I want that? You
Yeah.
know, I'm still paying for my ticket. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I send the emails, I send everything to try to get our access or whatnot, and I'm still paying for my ticket. You know what I'm saying? But I know that these guys are better at doing that than what I am.
That's the strength.
Mm.
Plus,
That's the
Alex
strength.
speaks Portuguese
And Spanish and
and
English.
Spanish and English.
He's a doctor in Colombia.
Yeah, so he's got that stuff to it, and then to your point too, like the strength. I'm like, I personally, for me, being on camera was like it just wasn't part of my thing. I would rather be behind it, recording, editing. I don't mind it for the podcast. We've always wanted to do a podcast before even Austin was a thing. Like I would always bring it up to the boys, like, hey, let's do a podcast before even Austin existed.
Mhm.
So, to each person's strength, it'd be you'd have to kind of pick because we've had members that had came in, bro, and like they don't really find a groove or find their spot. And I think it's very important that you find a groove or a spot where you can contribute something and just kind of identify
That's
yourself.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do this or I'll do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Like Primo sits there, that's his spot when he's on pod.
Yeah.
Bali will be on my right, B is on my left. Bali is like talent. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody
he's a
that's
character,
He's
bro.
a character.
and
Yeah.
I think that's it helps us a lot that we've been boys since we were young.
Yeah, the
So
And
that,
our-
that
our-
dynamic
The
is
dynamic
like, yeah.
is like,
Yeah.
when we first started Top Flight, we were like, man, we essentially had podcasts before we had a podcast. We would get in the backyard, have some drinks and just talk about football and shit on
Santi's
Madrid for being
backyard.
like this or not. Chelsea, Hazard's been asleep, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, why don't we just record this?
Yeah.
And essentially that's
That's
what
where it was
Top Flight
born.
came
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, but just get a team. Dealing with the negativity that we had at first is just just try to endure it. I mean, honestly, going to the middle school that we went to really toughened us up in the way that we were able. Kind of like
Yeah.
Dean Smith coming from the EPL to the MLS. I mean, when we got into the Austin FC atmosphere to the community, I mean, if there was one,
That's a fair point.
there was
Yeah.
one situation when one of a big Austin FC fan member, he came over to where we were doing fan reaction. He was like, "Fuck your shit. You guys are all negative, this and that. You shouldn't, your channel is shit, whatnot." And I'm a very calm person, bro. I've never really been involved with fights.
the boys-
the boys were
The
something
boys are
else.
searching for something like
But-
that.
but
They're
even
like,
then-
yeah,
Even
finally.
Then
You
I
know?
got hot. Like I stopped doing reactions real quick, and I went after the dude. I was like, "What's up? What's up?" Something took over me. Something came over me. I was like, "What up?"
Today's
Yeah.
the day.
And then he
He's like, the middle school days coming out.
What I've been training for.
I didn't recognize who it was at that moment, but the guy apologized. We're great friends now. We're super good. The police also came over and they were like, "Y'all good? Everybody's good?" No, it's like, dude, don't even worry about it. Misunderstanding. The guy was he was a little bit inebriated, drunk, whatnot.
Yeah.
And
Inebriated.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
word, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Inebriated. And
He's drunk.
he was drunk. He was
Damn.
drunk.
I
I
And
understand the AP. Drop
That might
now.
be the title.
and so just dealing with that, it's just I've tried to listen to everybody. I try to understand where everybody's coming from. Me myself, I've talked to thousands of fans, done so many hours of Twitter Spaces. I've heard all the takes about Austin FC in the world that you can think of, and it's just about listening to what everybody has to say. I treat everybody's opinion the same.
to your original point and question is, bro, our first year, we were looked at from Austin FC fans as like, because we gave fans a mic, a voice,
Yeah.
and our first year was really bad, and the fans was like, man, I paid $140 and we're beat this, beat that, like, man, this suck, beat the, and we would post it, and then fans would be like, why are you doing this? Why are you
Support the
posting
team blindly?
Support the team blindly.
Somebody told
Let's
us
do
that.
That's
Somebody
crazy.
told us
we
that.
got a lot of hate, maybe just not support from a core of the fan base at the beginning because we were magnifying fans' attitude. But guess what? Season 2 came around, and it was all, I love this team. This team's amazing. We give fans a microphone, a voice that reflect the club.
Yeah.
It's not us. We're not telling people.
100%.
We're not telling people, hey,
You're not like,
say
hey,
this.
yeah.
Hey, say that. No. If the club is doing bad, the fans are gonna reflect that. If the
Yeah.
club is doing great, the fans will reflect that as well. So
And-
we got a lot of hate in the beginning for that.
And I'll say this. I'm not going to say any names because I don't want to. But I've had a player message the account, and they've said, you guys just create a negative atmosphere. And I told them back, bro, if I wanted to, I could. So easy,
Yeah,
bro.
100%.
So
bro.
easy, bro. But no, you have to hold stuff back. George, I mean, the conversation we've had the past 48 hours, I mean, have really put me on game. And for the next 3 years of my life, I feel like I have a plan that I need to set in stone to make what we have here bigger.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
what I see with Top Bend 90, I see the trajectory that you guys are going, and I absolutely admire it 100%. And you know, we can be an example to other people, but still we're still growing, and you guys are an example to us. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of how you guys navigate in the social media landscape that you guys are in. It's not easy, you know, to try to work in this world.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to ask you guys that, because like when you experience negativity online here, it's very like there's people that like they don't see like, okay, like these people that go on Twitter, sometimes they don't even have a face, but they're ready to go in on you about
I
whatever.
love those accounts.
Right? But you have to learn how to develop that thick skin, because as the channel grows, as you get bigger, the size of the growth is gonna depend on the size of the ability to take on different issues, to have thick skin, to not let things just get under your skin,
my skin is
as
thick,
easily, right?
It's thick.
I'll say this, you know, it was very easy for me to get a microphone in my hand because in high school I was in the debate team. I was not a debater, but I used to supply topics to the actual debaters, and we had to do presentations in front of the class. And at one time, I went up there and I shit the bed. I froze, bro. I froze, and there was a girl. She was like, "Just read your notes. Just read your notes." And I was just like, bro, I didn't know what the hell to say, bro. I was shocked. And I didn't know what happened. And then time went by and whatnot. And there's a thing in our high school that's called the spring show. And there's a dance team, right, where the girls, they do a choreographed dance with the boys, and it's like a show in the spring, and you buy tickets.
Type thing?
It's like a baile sorpresa.
Okay.
Right? And so the girls on the dance team, you know, they pick their partner. They say, "Hey, can you do the guy dance with me?" And you say yes or no, right? And so I was chosen like 3 times to do it.
Dang. Okay.
Facts. Hey, facts.
Hey.
And by
He's
the
like, yeah, I've always had game.
and by the captain of the team too. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But you
Dang,
know,
bro.
great
Meanwhile,
friends.
meanwhile, I'm too cool to dance, man.
Facts.
My hat sideways. Nah.
She's a great friend now though. Great friend now though. Shout out to her for really taking me out of that show. And so I would be on stage dancing in front of my whole high school. And so that really brought me out my show. And then after high school, I started working at a bingo hall. And I started on the floor selling tickets, and then they saw that I had ambition, and they put me on the stage as a bingo caller. So I was a bingo
B7.
caller. Exactly.
Bingo.
I was a bingo caller for like 2 years, like on stage. And then I left and I got into the trade because I wanted something that my family respected. That's really what it is at the end of the day. My family, they didn't really respect what I did. They thought it was just like a joke job. You know what I'm saying? And that hurt me to the core because I was trying to provide for my fam and they didn't respect what I did. So it was like, it kind of took a hit on me. And I would get home really late because I would work midnight, afternoon, and early, afternoon, and midnight bingo all in one day. And so I would leave at the house at like 10 in the morning or 7 in the morning actually. And I wouldn't get home till like 3 in the morning after midnight bingo. So I would be at home eating Whataburger by myself, number 13, barbecue sauce with Dr. Pepper. And I'd be eating by myself, and I felt like I was dying. You know, I felt like my soul was dying because I didn't have any interaction with my family. I was always gone. I was always working. But you know, then this Austin FC stuff came around, and it does take my weekends, right? Sometimes, right? But my family really likes what I do now. They respect my current job. I like my job a lot too. I was looking for it as something like that, and the longevity of what I do now is fantastic.
And it's cool that we're in the same trade.
We're in the same trade.
union. You know, I joined in at 8, like right. I graduated high school. 3 months later, I was in the trades already. Like,
yeah.
Cause
I'm about to get my journeyman's license.
No.
So you got to be 4 or 5 years into the game, and then boom. And then the way that Bryan explained it to me was pretty cool. It's like I was already at the top of my ladder. Talking about bingo, I was already a caller at such young. I did it. The thing about me was like I was able to become a caller the fastest that the company has ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Like the company was North Lamar Bingo. They told me like you're the fastest one that's ever made it to the caller from usher to the caller. Nobody's ever done it faster than you.
Quick.
Wow.
I got up the ladder quick, right? But then it was nowhere to go. And then the way that B explained to me was like this ladder is. It doesn't stop. Like you're still gonna keep climbing. Like where you're at, you're here, but the ladder that you can be at is right here.
And I got a lot of criticism when I first joined because there was the reason why I explained it to him.
Friends are toxic.
Our friends are really toxic, dude. The way that I explained to him was explained to me by an older guy. It's like, dude, you're doing a great job coming into this trade, because there would be I was on the first step of this big ladder while others around me were at the top of shorter ladders and looking down on me.
Yeah.
And they were like, "What are you doing?" You know, I was making $12 an hour. I was digging a ditch, 100-degree weather, sweating my ass off. You know,
And this was
10 hours
a different Austin. Union contracts have changed.
Yeah.
The city has a lot of work now, so
and
the worker is now in a better position.
so and then
Okay.
there's people that are in AC office job that are making 18 that are like, "Bro, why are you?"
Yeah.
digging a
Why are
ditch
you
for
killing
12?"
yourself? Yeah.
And I was like, dude, it's
about the ladder.
It's about the ladder, dude.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, I'm higher than than
Where they plateaued.
where they were plateaued at. And to me, I take that mentality into this game, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's all right if you're making fun of our video of this with 10 views when we posted it or whatever, 10 likes or whatever. It took an hour to cook. I posted it and then no engagement. It's all right. It's the grind. It's the grind. We'll keep making better videos, make better graphics, learn from our mistakes, and then make better content. And we're just gonna keep climbing this ladder.
Yeah, I think that's very important to mention too, because sometimes people like they think they have to have everything perfect before they start. And bro, I'm like, to this day, like my spelling, I'm always making mistakes with that. And you know
this
what?
guy.
And then I'm like,
Shout out ChatGPT.
yeah, for sure, bro.
ChatGPT.
And I own outside of Top, but I own a social media company. So like,
Seventh Peak.
yeah. So I mean, I'm
Shout out.
like the stuff, like a lot of the strengths that I should have to do these things, I don't have. But the reality is, I have the passion and I have the work ethic. And when you have those two things,
Yeah.
bro, like the other things will solve themselves. So if
Exactly.
anyone's like, hey, I want to start something, and then they like, I had probably 80 reasons why not to do this, and you guys probably did too, but we did it anyways.
And if you're listening to this and you may be interested in doing something like this, or we motivate you and do some things, you gotta ask yourself: are you willing to grind first? Are you willing to grind first? Are you willing to stay up late? Are you willing to make some stuff, put it out, and get no engagement, and to keep going past that? That needs to be the first question you ask yourself. Because if you are down and you keep at it, like you said, it's
about the long game.
It's about the long game.
Yeah,
it's about
bro.
enjoying.
about
How
the
does
long
that
game.
phrase? But this is famous because like it's not about the destination. It's about
The journey.
The journey, bro. And that sticks with me. I'm all for that, bro.
And one thing I do want to add into this topic that we're in right now, I think my upbringing had a lot to do with the kind of work ethic that we have. Because when I used to come home from school, my dad, he always had something to do. I was like, God damn, bro, you like, do you ever?
He's like that guy on Instagram whose stuff is always breaking. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
He's like-
My dad always had something to do. Is either like, help me cut the grass or like hand pick the weeds from the front yard. It's like, what? There's millions of them, bro. Like, what are you talking about? And then, we got a piece of land on the outside of Maynard when I was in high school. And so every summer after every day in junior year after I come home from school, before I got my actual job, I would go with my dad and my uncles to clear the fence line, and that was a historic period in Austin because it was a historic drought. No other cattle have died of heat exhaustion ever in the history of Texas except that year, which was 2011. It was a major drought, and so we bought the piece of land in that time. And we had to go out there, clear the fence. But I think that really helped me out in where I am today in this landscape, because every time that I get home, I have something to do. Either I got to work something on the laptop, or I'm applying for a credential, or I'm researching this team, this and that, or whatnot.
Or you get thrown news that like, at the most random times,
100%.
right? So
I always pray it catches me on lunch.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So talk to me about that as well. Like, obviously in this industry that we're in, like, like news can come at you at 7 in the morning, at 2 a.m. at night. Because, with transfer news too, I'm like, bro, like Charlotte's now interested in a player in Norway or somewhere, or, same thing with Austin. Like, how do you guys do you guys have a system of like, okay, like, how do you guys handle stuff like that?
So what I do is, I guess putting people on game, is I go on Twitter, then I search the player's last name, I search the club, and I go to latest, and then if anything is popping up on Twitter or whatever, it's like a journalist from Scandinavia or something. I don't even know that's a real country. Scandinavia?
Scandinavia is the area.
Okay, my fault. Let's say a journalist from, I mean, a recent example, a journalist from Israel, right? He dropped the Abada stuff or whatever when that was going on. You know, some journalists that you probably never heard of, but you should follow after, right? After they put their stuff out. But you know, I try to search the internet as much as I can. You know, search and most of the time, well, one time the most famous story, the most interesting story that has ever happened with Transfer News Network is that when Ruben Gabrielson left Austin FC, that was unexpected because he left because his child has special needs, and so they need special care, and our healthcare system in this country is nothing to what Norway has. All right, and so Ruben Gabrielson, he pushed for a move outside the club. The club granted him the request, and they let him go, but somebody that's close to the sporting director of his boyhood club that he went back to, Lillestrøm SK, a friend of the sporting director, reached out to us, and he said, maybe I kind of put him out there, but a friend of somebody close to the club, maybe we can edit out that, whatever. They reached out to us and they said, hey, this is going to happen. And I was like, ain't no way that's going to happen, bro. And so I sent it to these guys. I was like, guys, what do you think about this? And we were like, I don't know. Ruben Gabrielson, this is his team. Like, why would this make any sense? It doesn't make any sense.
What makes it crazy is that he was, I think he didn't win Newcomer of the Year, but he was right there.
Yeah,
he had a standout first season with us. He was beloved by the
people still
fans.
miss him.
He went embraced the fans, so he was very loved. So,
and this dude hits us up and he's like, this is gonna happen, you're not gonna get this news anywhere else. And I was confused. I was like, why are you choosing us as your news outlet? But then it hit me, like, we cover the team, we're big, we're known, people see our coverage. Obviously they search up Austin FC, we popped up, so they hit us up. And so I tried to manage that information as best as I could. I made like a cheeky tweet and I said, the news that just came across my desk, ... And I think the atmosphere was already kind of like at an all-time high in the front office because of this that was going on. And somebody from the club reaches out to me and they go, hey, like, what do you know? And they already knew. And I told these guys, I was like, bro, should I tell them? Like, what's up? But, you know, I did. I told them everything that was going on. And, you know, this person, they told me, like, hey, if you can just chill out for a little bit, this is a very serious topic. And I understood 100%. Like, this guy was leaving the country because he has a special needs child. That's nothing to play with. You know, it's not like he's pushing for a move because he's not happy here. This is a family topic.
Yeah.
So I gave it as much as respect as I could, and I didn't say anything until it leaked from the other side of the world.
And to George's point too is to your question was like when that's where H comes. H is good at this. Is like when something pops up, he's on it, dude.
Yeah.
He's on it because he could be on a scissor lift or something. He could be driving
should
somewhere.
we tell them about the story about Ricky?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Not OSHA.
Like that's the thing. That's the thing is like this guy. Like for me, it's a little tougher for me to kind of.
It's just like I get like you get like bro like this needs to come out through us ASAP.
ASAP.
Yeah.
And
Like
me,
we had that with when we were at TST with
Tim Rim.
With Tim Ream, we got the news. We're like, bro, if we break this first, like that's huge. And like I left a press conference, I went and wrote a shitty article, right, really fast, right?
get it out. Yeah.
But we got credited by the top people,
Yeah.
right? Because this was huge news.
Yeah.
Right,
Facts.
and it's like that, like you're like
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
like
That's
we're-
where he's
we're the
good at
people-
that.
Like
He's
we
good at
feel-
that.
It's like a feeling that like comes over
It's
you.
adrenaline. It's like,
Yeah,
I gotta
it
get
is.
it out.
Yeah.
I gotta get it out. Like, it has to
Yeah.
go out through us. And there are other pages in the Austin FC landscape that do break news as well. Not break news, but they share it like we do or whatnot. And, you know, I give credit to whoever is out there doing the same
For
stuff.
sure, we do the same thing because I mean that's kind of the fair thing to do, right? But it also shows you too, like that's why it's important to be consistent because whether you break it or not, when you post it, the engagement is different than everybody.
Yeah.
That's just the reality.
Oh yeah, we know that.
It's because we've built a little bit of an audience.
Exactly.
We have a core
Exactly.
group. We have a core group of audiences.
And you're consistent, and people expect this from you now.
Yeah, that's what exactly, bro. I feel like it's almost, you know, we have to do it now. We're a legit news source for Austin FC, and people tell us all the time, like, yo, you're the reason why I even keep up with Austin. You're the reason why I have all my news for Austin FC. And, you know, then sometimes the club doesn't even throw you a bone or pretends that you don't exist. And it's like, it's just a roller coaster of emotions because we own the streets. We have the support of the fan base, but yet we have pushback from the people that we want to help.
Yeah.
We want to help increase their brand. But, you know, I understand that maybe they feel burned by,
And that's,
maybe other news outlets or other media outlets, and
Yeah.
it's just a little frustrating.
and you know, we've been
sometimes.
talking about twin flames, but I think that's what sets us a little bit apart.
Yeah. Listen, from our perspective, I gotta say that, like, you know, obviously we've done a great job, but Charlotte FC, they have done a great job of helping us get the access we need for the people. They've understood that from the very beginning, that they saw the potential in what we could do. And you know what? They don't always like what we have to say or what we do, but they respect it because they understand the grind. I mean, like, I would put
That's
the Charlotte
beautiful,
FC, the Charlotte FC comms department is top tier. Like, I would put them against anybody in the world. Like, there was a time I was heading to a like I think it was a press conference that Dean Smith was doing, and one of their comms guys texted me and said, "Hey, like, there's traffic on this area. I don't know if you're coming. Just in case, try to find another way." Like, they don't have to do that, bro. Like,
They
you know,
want
like,
you there. They want
they
you there.
want me there, and they're making it easy for me. I'm like, bro, like, this is such first class level treatment that, like, I truly appreciate that. And I think that's just, like, we know that we have to give people, we have a responsibility to give people news. But when people like that treat you well as well, like that, I'm like, you know what, like, having that great relationship, I really respect a lot of people there because they don't have to do what they do for us,
Yeah.
but they do it anyways.
And that's where we
Yeah.
differ, because I mean, we're gonna be honest. We get none of that. Like we.
I'll say this though, maybe we need to put our part too, bro.
what do you mean?
Because I want to say this. I mean, you know, Bali, he's very outspoken.
But okay, but that's the thing. What, to his point, it says they may not agree, they might not, but they recognize the game, they recognize the grind, and
Right.
and I've
But
I've
I
heard-
think also as a creator and somebody that's around these circles too, like, you know, like, we know from our perspective, everybody that follows Charlotte FC from the top to the bottom are gonna see what we do.
yeah.
Right. So, like, if you're out there, like, just blatantly disrespecting, I'm not saying you guys do this, but, like, if you're really gonna give it, expect to take it, right? So
exactly.
that's the only thing I have to say, right? Because, like, if we really have a go at a player, we're gonna see them week in and week out. So we better be prepared for that. And we've had people DM us some negative stuff, threaten to sue us, stuff like that, right? You know, allegedly.
Again.
Just in case, I don't know if I have to say it, but I'm gonna say it.
to that point, you know, at least let us know that like what is it that maybe you don't, that you see from us that maybe is keeping us from, you know, doing certain things. It's like let's have some sort of communication, like
ground
middle
or
ground, like
something.
okay,
For sure, bro.
what do we do? What
So
do you do?
I think
Like,
it takes
what
both
do you want?
parties. Like, you're right.
Exactly.
Like, it's on them, and
And-
then maybe, like H said, right? Like, maybe what are some of the things that you guys can improve on,
Exactly.
right? Because
Exactly.
there's things that we still need to
some
improve
dialogue,
on.
some communication,
Yeah.
some, like, you know. But
Yeah.
I will say this: the Austin comms team, they're great. You know, the people that I've talked to with them, you know, they've always showed us respect. You know what I'm saying, and whatnot. And maybe there's stuff that, you know, that we can change from ourselves. And after talking with Top End 90, I mean, I'm ready for a couple of tweaks and changes here, because the opportunity is there. You know what I'm saying? The opportunity for us to grow is there. You know, I feel like we could also put our part.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To you know,
But-
try to help them out too.
Okay,
to get
but
the access that we want.
that's
as well.
fine. But like the way that I see it from us is like, okay, we're here like to talk. Like what do we
Mhm.
what do we do? What do you want us to do? How can we, you know?
We're also not puppets.
We're not exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
But we don't have that opportunity to be like, hey, what can we do?
It's like
What
you
do we
guys
do?
haven't found that common ground yet. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. And
So-
you know,
Hopefully next year's different. You know, I
Yeah.
really want to, you know,
Yeah.
have a better relationship. If I don't, the relationship's good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just there's no beef or
But
anything like that. It's just we
it's-
just want the access that we
it
deserve.
stands out because when we see y'all's content, we're like,
How are they so close to this
"What-
person? Yeah.
What's going on?
But then that's where
what?"
I say we're like, you know, like, that's the stuff that, like, if they didn't let us in, we couldn't get that out to the public, right?
Facts.
And then people, like, appreciate Swiderski talking to me and saying how what he's seeing right now coming back to the club. We're giving them that information up front because they follow us. And similar thing to you guys. I got 2 more questions and we'll kind of wrap up like this. But this has been great so far. I love it, you know. Maybe talk to us about what are some of, like, you would say the top 3 things as a creator that stand out to you guys.
What do you mean, like stand out? Like
is it like things like when you think of people that create content, what are some of the things that you guys do or that you see out there that like, okay, like this is what makes a good creator?
For me, the what comes off to my mind quick is like a bit of, and this might sound, I don't know, people take it, a bit of swag to them, a bit of flavor to them, a bit of like something.
Are they wavy?
Are they wavy? You know what I mean? Are they? I don't want to hear a guy. And look, no, this is no diss to any content. If you're like, hey, that's what. No, I'm not. I'm just saying what stands out to me is like I don't want a guy that just state out facts and straight face. And today we want, I want some flavor. Hey, it's a top bin 90 plus 7 minus 9 divided by 5. You know what I mean? Like that flavor. You know what I mean? To me, that is what catches my eye.
Facts.
So to me, that's the one thing that stands out.
For me, is the editing and the process,
the production.
I mean, I've mentioned before that there's podcasts out there that I follow, not necessarily for their takes, but because of their editing and their clips and their transitions and the fact that they can pull me in and watch the length of their clip and maybe even rewatch it because of the transitions and the clips and whatnot. I mean, something that you guys put out recently, the Dean Smith, the Aston Villa story that he gave when he was a little kid. He got on the team bus, and all that stuff. I mean, as the story was being told in the background, I was also getting a visual aid. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I was I felt like I was watching a movie. I was hearing it and I was watching it, like the Champions League, the bus, and all this stuff. Dean Smith. So for me, it's the editing process. And what B was saying, when I back him up on this point, is the talent. You can't just do it without having the talent. You got to have a little bit of charisma, a little bit of talent, and that's what I think Emmanuel has a lot of. He has a lot of charisma. I said that Cisco was more chill, but in a sense, I said it that, like, this guy, I could feel his aura from where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I can have a conversation with him, and he has a smile on his face for the whole length of it. You know what I'm saying?
You could tell meeting someone, their character. Like, I've throughout my life, I've dealt with a lot of characters, bro. Like, characters, bro, like certain things, and that's what I respect the person that does something unique or has a unique thing to them, and to me that stands out. Like,
what, no, I was just thinking about Ms. Robinson falling down the stairs.
Shout out Ms. Robinson. No shout out to her, remember? Okay.
Yeah, no shout out to her. She was mean to us, bro.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think these are things, especially like if you're in this world that you watch, right? Like, to me, it's like, oh, they do a really good job of doing this, or, oh, okay, like this is great, or like, why are they do? Like, I always, when I look at things, I don't just look at what they're putting. I'm trying to figure out why they're doing it, how it's being done, and why it's effective.
I also try to be as entertaining and informative as possible. The character that I have on, that I took over the Top Flight and WEAREAUSTINTV, like, it's me, but I've also put in my 2 cents and try to be entertaining. I try to give you like something. I try to give you something that you can listen to for an hour.
And what's good about our show is that, like, Bali is Bali, and I'm like the opposite. I think, like,
I know that. So I'll like.
He's more of a what do you call it? A pessimist or something. He's
I'm like a neutral.
He's got his views and he's hard on his views, and I got my views and I'm hard, and our views are like different, but we're boys. Like, we can have discussions. Like, he'll say this and I'm like, nah, bro, no, it's this, and then he controls that. So I think our dynamic is gold.
Sometimes it gets out of hand, but people appreciate it.
We've had some
borderline fights,
some moments.
Nice. And then my last question is maybe like your most like the most memorable moment, like, that you've had so far, building, We Are Austin TV. And we'll share ours too.
The most memorable moment. I mean,
something that really stands out to you guys.
When Drusy tagged us at the end of the season on the photo, I think that was a really big moment for me. I was like, yo, he tagged us on a photo. He recognizes our grind or whatnot. That's cool. But also when we went to the Western Conference Final with LA, we got smacked. But the lessons that we learned and that trip really gave us a boost for the next year, because we saw the kind of culture that they were building out there, and we were like, yo, we kind of want that in Austin too. So that kind of like woke us up a little bit and saying and thinking or visualizing what we could be in the future. And to me, that was a very memorable moment. Also, just real quick, beating LAFC 4-1 with Bell at home, that was really cool.
Nice.
That's mostly like, I agree with H, like heights of our coverage for Austin. But like personally, memorable personally, like to me, regardless of Austin's doing good, was being a part of the construction of our stadium, bro. The beginning, to me, I could watch photos and like go back to that feeling of of having 200. We only had like 200, 300 followers. But to me, that stands out. That feeling stands out to me because of like being there, just covering that, and just like the realization, like, oh, we're doing this, you know. And to me, that is, to me personally, is the most memorable. Plus, at that time, it was a personally level. It was probably a height time for me. Like, you know, everything outside of the Austin TV is just, everything was just, I was in at a dream job.
It's building a stadium.
Building a stadium with a dream car. I had just got a 2020 Tacoma. That was my dream truck.
Wait, is it 2020?
2020.
I thought it was 2013.
No, 2020.
Yeah, we saw it. We were like, dang, this was pretty advanced for
2013.
2013.
So
Everything was falling into
everything
place.
was like, I had my dream job, started my dream project with my boys, driving my dream truck. I had just moved out to a very nice apartment. So during those times, it was peak. It was not peak because obviously it's the very beginning. I wouldn't say peak,
but it's memorable.
It's memorable to your question, bro. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. How about you, Manny?
Now you go first.
To me, honestly, what I absolutely adore about what we do is game day when I go into the stadium and I'm walking around, like as I'm headed to do kind of our like you know, video about what the match that's going on, where I'm in there, I see the crowd, and people are like, yo, top bin, and I'm walking through, and like, it's just very surreal because growing up, we never had that in Charlotte, and you know that, like, from Austin perspective, right? Like, I would watch Barcelona, I would watch Liverpool, because these were my teams, I would watch Honduras, right? You know, and I would support, but I could never feel that passion because I'm not there, you know? Like, I felt it inside, but I know I wasn't there. Yeah. But when I go to our match days, it's so unreal, like, being there, you know? And those are the moments where, like, all the BS that goes on behind the scenes that nobody else sees, those are the moments I enjoy the most. And that really sticks out to me.
Man, I need to enjoy those a little bit more because like I've had similar situations where they say, we're Austin TV, I love what you do, all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, you know what, thank you. And at the moment, I'm like, oh, you know what, thank you so much.
He's a celebrity, bro. There's people making a picture with you.
For sure. And like, I was telling him that too. Like, someone asked me to sign the jersey. I'm like, bro, I'm not even a player. Or they've had a fat head of me. In the stadium, you know, so it's like very like humbling, head, you know. It's the biggest one.
No, but you're right though, bro. It comes with like a little bit of influence, you know. And for me, I love doing Twitter Spaces. The fact that I could conduct a room of like 100 people virtually or whatnot, and like I'm able to give the yes or no when you can speak or not. It's just a little bit of like
you like that control, bro. No wonder you like bingo.
No. He was
it's 06.
Let me see. Let me check that.
This goes back to the mustache, doesn't it?
Hey, don't bring it out. Don't bring it out.
I told them about the time that I went to see Rogan and Hinchcliffe, and they were making fun of me. Yeah.
Is that what? Yeah. I was like,
let's not pick that up.
When I saw him, I was like, oh, he took it off today.
You want that out there even more?
I took it off today.
No, but I mean, I like.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
leave it at that.
I like Twitter Spaces. I like talking to the people. That's my thing. I love talking to the folks. I mean, I'll do 2 hours Twitter Spaces and listen to what everybody has to say, and the next day I'm at it again.
I'm more behind the scenes, brother, and I enjoy that part.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of the face and the spokesperson. B is more like behind the scenes, the editor and whatnot, and I like that. I like
that's the thing that works with us too. Is that I like work. You know, I enjoy this part.
I like being the guy that has to talk to this person or that person or whatnot. And I work on it. I try to work on my vocabulary to sit at the table that these people sit at, because if you don't speak the way that they do, they look down on you.
I had to adjust mine. Let's just say my vocabulary. I had to.
So I try to listen to audio books. I try to pick up on every words that I can. I'm still learning. You know,
all of us, bro. Like none of us had a background in journalism. You know, but saying that, bro, at the end of the day, what I love about, and you said this last night, and I feel like this in Charlotte, like, we own the streets, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
own the
That's the
streets.
reality.
It's a
Yeah,
reality.
it really is.
100%. 100%.
Manny?
I think my favorite part about this is like just talking to people. I just love meeting people,
He does.
especially like like he can tell you like I'll talk to anybody,
Bro,
anytime,
yeah.
like
Damn, we're
whatever.
I think
opposite,
your
bro.
wife's dad said that, right? That, like, you just, like, can talk to anybody, something like that.
So I just like talking to people, interviewing people, laughing, joking. That's the part that I love most about this is that I get to meet so many people from different backgrounds. And I mean, with my businesses and stuff, I don't really get to do that. Just because most of the people, like, they're local and they're going to tell me the same story somebody else is going to tell me. But doing media, it's from anywhere. Like, dude, like, we've met people from Colombia, like, Venezuela, stuff, and, like, the press boxes,
Yeah.
and their stories
Yeah.
are just great.
Yeah.
That's the
Before,
one.
if you didn't know him and you saw, you would think he knows this person, and, like, they just met, like, 5 minutes ago.
That's crazy because that's the one thing that I've the most like changing that I had to do this content stuff. I had to try to embrace that, bro, because I was a guy at the beginning. It was like, if I don't know you, I'm good. Like,
That's where I come in.
I exactly. He was cool with the gangsters, the girls, the preppy guys, the nerds.
So I'm telling you,
he was cool with
I
me.
Dude.
I was in the dance, I
Yeah,
was in
so
debate, and I was with the
with-
Mexicans.
With me, the way
Dang, yeah.
with me, the way that I came up was like, if a stranger is nice to you, he wants something from you, or he's scoping you out. He's gonna kick your door in the
I'm
next
telling
day.
you,
like-
Burning was like jail, bro.
So to me, like, if I don't know you, like, so I had to work on that aspect of
Yeah.
myself, is be more open minded to meeting new people, and I've been working on that.
Yeah, but no, I mean, that's just my favorite part of it. I mean, to be honest, just like Jorge said, I mean, I literally had a guy at my proposal that I had met like 6 months ago.
Okay.
But we just click like that, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
that's-
you know,
that's
it
good
is what it
aura.
is. That's my favorite part about
Nah,
all of
yeah.
this that we do.
I mean, that just last thing I'll say is high school had a lot to do with what we're doing right now because, like I said, I was involved with a lot of people in high school. I was in like extracurricular activities like PALS. PALS is like an environmental extracurricular thing where we would clean up parks and stuff, and like I hung out with like band people at
I
that
was an
time.
extra clicker, but other.
So I was.
He's like, we were cleaning up other
Yeah.
things.
So I got to meet a lot of people, you know,
Nice.
and that really helped me like navigate different landscapes. And you know, you could put me in any kind of room, and I'll network.
I love that, man.
Sick.
I mean, we'll end that there, like this portion of what I wanted today. But like, I really wanted this because I can't think of better people that do kind of what we do in Charlotte here in Austin, bro. And like the respect that I have for what you guys have built, because to be honest, you guys have it more difficult than we do in certain aspects of what we do. And so my respect level for what you guys do here is through the roof. I
Appreciate
anytime someone asks me who are the best MLS creators out there, I always mention you. I was like, these guys are the standard bearer of how
you
this
always say
should be
that.
done.
You always said it to me. That's not the first time you said it, so I know that it's genuine. I know it's real. Because some people will tell it to you and they're lying to your face. Bro.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. Like we deal with a lot outside of the comms things. We deal with similar issues where people tell you one thing or they're saying stuff behind your back
Trust
or
me, bro.
all
Us
this
too.
other
My
stuff,
mom-
right?
My mom she always tells me, she's like, hey, just be safe, because she knows that I engage with a lot of people. And I told mom, I was like, man, I know